It's not the story that matters. Not even telling the story matters. It's what you hate about it that matters. Today in this video, we'll be exploring the topic and questions. Do strongholds work? No. Technically they don't, because the player can only access it through mining down into it. There's rarely any entrances in caves or really anywhere. The design sucks at a convenience standpoint, but works as a defense against great dangers. To actually test the stronghold, we're going to go through these 3 tests: strength, lore, and placement. Strength will be defined as how well it will hold under attacks and different various tests. Lore will be defined as trying to see the purpose of each room and how it actually holds up the entire structure as a whole. Placement will be defined as its different locations and how well it holds up in those locations. While placing more than 1000 TNT, I was sure this amount would at least get near the stronghold. Well, in reality, it didn't. On a lore standpoint, the entire structure doesn't really give any story at all, other than a few rooms. I won't list every room since that would only be a waste of time. The library. The library is in almost every stronghold and is unique to only strongholds. Libraries may contain bookshelves and or chests with valuable loot. As of recently, they might have armor trims. But beyond just the game's description of the library inside the stronghold, I'll be basing my interpretation from a common believed theory that the stronghold itself is just a shelter or a bunker of sorts to protect the people who built it from a imminent danger above. I personally believe that the library itself, as of now, holds the history, stories, and any important texts written by those who left it behind, hoping maybe someone would remember their existence. I rated this 8 out of 10, mainly because since the new edition of chiseled bookshelves, Mojang missed an opportunity to actually add these in the libraries themselves to, I don't know, maybe add custom stories or just randomly generated ones, or even guides that maybe more lesser known facts about how to do things easier in the game. It was a very missed opportunity in my opinion. The prison cells. Prison cells don't usually show up in every stronghold, but they don't really serve any purpose either. What do these house? Undead mobs? Farm animals? People? From what I understand, it would make most sense if they had housed farm animals, because without them having any food source, they would starve and die out underground. So, for this section, there really isn't any rating, so a 10 out of 10, for purpose.
The portal room.
This room is really as self-explanatory as it will get. It has one entrance with a staircase leading to an unfinished portal, unless you're in a 1 in a trillion world where it's fully lit. If it is, then go try the lottery. What are you doing watching my video? In terms of lore, this is literally just the gateway to an empty, cold, and dark dimension with the game's final boss. We'll just forget the Warden.
For a proper rating, I will rate it 5 out of 10. It's basic, but it serves its ultimate purpose.
To be walked through. Placement. Now that we've seen the major rooms, what does the placement have to do with anything? Well, if you didn't already know, strongholds spawn in rings around a player's world. There are 128 total strongholds in a player's world. If you want the specifics, I will provide this image. Don't look too long now. It might fade away. Strongholds will usually spawn above sea level in almost every single biome. It's extremely common for any other structures or a cave to cut through it. And in some rare cases, it can even destroy the end portal. Although they are completely placed everywhere in the world, it really just checks out total. Since the builders who created them wanted to be prepared and they wanted to have a guaranteed shelter, it makes sense that they're scattered and there's so many of them. So what I'm saying is that the lore makes sense. Especially for them to be so deep underground, it is protecting them from explosion or really any form of damage from the outside world. Duh. Okay, we've covered all 3 points, albeit I could go into further depth. I don't want to. Well, I've answered the question. Do strongholds work?